The inspiration of my message is derived from the wonderful mind and words of Dr. Emmett Fox in his book, The Sermon on the Mount. And today's title is from chapter 3 of this wonderful little book, and I borrowed it from the library right here at Unity of Rochester. So at the end of the service today, I will be putting it back in the library, and if anyone is interested, it's there for you to borrow. But before I go into the message today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Dr. Emmett Fox, for those of you who aren't aware of who he is and what he did. Dr. Emmett Fox was a minister, author, teacher, healer, and mystic. Emmett Fox, probably more than any other New Thought leader, has influenced more people simply because in his day he attracted wider audiences than anyone else for longer periods of time. You know how our attention span is. After 20 or 30 minutes, we're ready to go. But Emmett Fox had that charisma and that magnetism that drew people to him. To this day, Emmett Fox is read more widely and is understood more clearly than any other New Thought writer. That's a statement that came from his information. For me, Charles Fillmore can fill those shoes very easily. Closet readers of Dr. Fox can be found in the Episcopal, Catholic, Baptist, and Methodist churches, among others. Notice I said closet readers. That's why I love Unity, because we don't have to be in the closet to read or to live our lives. His objective as a New Thought teacher has always been not to establish yet another religion, not to establish yet another religious doctrine, but to encourage individuals, whether they attend church or not, to develop their own creative power and to personally understand what God is and what God is all about, and then to be able to relate that to their own lives. In his day, and to this day, Emmett Fox reached more people because he had a talent to speak and write with great clarity and in a very dynamic way. His message was simple and direct. He said, sooner or later, you will all have to put God first in your life. God must become the only thing that really matters. It need not be and better not be the only thing in your life, but it must be the first thing. He said when that happens, your life becomes simpler, richer, and infinitely more worthwhile. He brought new meaning to millions of people around the globe with his golden key of health, inner peace, and success. The theme of his teachings is life is consciousness, and we are what we think. He emphasized that if we want to change our life, we must change our thoughts first. We set forth our own destiny by our thoughts, words, and actions. That there is only one presence and one power in the universe, God. All else is an illusion. He gave us the golden key. Love is by far the most important thing of all. He said, it is the golden gate to paradise. Pray for understanding of love and meditate upon it daily. It casts out fear. It is the fulfilling of the law. Love is absolute, invincible. Emmett Fox was born in Ireland on July 30th, 1886. Was educated in England, pursued his spiritual career mostly in the United States, and died in France on August 13th, 1951. Emmett Fox left a mark. Life has been richer for hundreds of thousands of people because he lived. He built his church on consciousness, knowing that God is instantly available and everywhere present. Like Peter, he built his church upon a rock, the rock of understanding that God is the only power and only presence. This is from Emmett, his life story. One thing in what I just shared with you that really resonates with me, something that Emmett said, sooner or later you will have to put God first in your life. God must become the only thing that really matters. It need not be and better not be the only thing in your life, but it must be the first thing. It also said that his message was simple, direct, and it was for churchgoers as well as those who did not attend church. Well, as I look at you, you reflect me. We're churchgoers. In Matthew 6:33, the Bible tells us, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." So Fox tells us that righteousness does not merely mean right conduct, but right thinking. On all subjects in every department of our lives, it's important what we think. Outside things are expressions that are pressed out or an outpouring of our inner thoughts and beliefs. Whatever we think, whatever we believe, that's what we're going to produce in our lives. We have dominion, power over our thoughts to think as we will. God gives us free will. No one can control your thoughts other than you. We make or mar our lives by the way in which we think. The law of the universe says, what you think, you will produce in your experiences. We cannot think one thing and produce another. What we think is like planting seeds. You can't plant corn and expect tomatoes. We produce what we think. You have to plant what you want or what you expect in your life. If you want harmony and happiness in your life, we have to think it. Health and wealth also comes from our thinking. As we may recall, unity was founded with the humble beginnings of Myrtle Fillmore, who had been sick for many years. She was told by many doctors, "You'll never be well." But she went to a meeting where people were thinking and talking positive, how to change your life. Be careful about what you think. Myrtle Fillmore was able to think herself into good health. Her husband, Charles, so impressed with the outcome and the way she was going and the way she was thinking, he began studying and teaching metaphysics. Now, what is metaphysics? For me, my definition was, or maybe still is, if metaphysics is mind over matter. And if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Well, that has a little truth to it. If you don't put your mind into it, it doesn't matter. What you feed your mind into is what's going to become important and run and lead your life or produce itself in your life, in the outpouring of your thoughts. Metaphysics, as defined by Charles Fillmore in the Revealing Word, the systematic study of the science of being, that which transcends the physical. By pure metaphysics is meant a clear understanding of the realm of ideas and their legitimate expression. And that's from the Revealing Word. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What we sow in thought is reaped in what is seen. When difficulties occur in our lives, it is important that we clear them up quickly. Clearing them up immediately. Getting into the right frame of thinking, get our thoughts together. If we do not clear up these difficulties quickly, we end up paying so much more in time, in our health, and in our emotions. We give it too much thought. If you don't put your mind to it, it won't matter. It could be a difficulty, but we dwell on it. And that little bitty difficulty turns into this huge mountain that we can't seem to climb or move through. The law of being tells us to turn to God immediately in the midst of troubles. I'm going to share a story with you. The Apostle Peter did. Some of you may know this story. Jesus had been teaching, and he told the apostles to go ahead of him. They were on the sea. It was a big storm, and they saw Jesus walking across the water, coming to the boat. And Peter said, they had all kind of, is it a ghost? No, I don't know what it is. They were afraid. So Jesus said, no, it's me, calmly, in a storm, walking on the water. Peter said, well, Lord, if it's you, let me walk on the water too. So Jesus said, come on, Peter. Peter got out of the boat and started to walk on the water. But the moment he doubted, he began to sink. And he said, Lord, save me. There's one thing about it. When we start to walk on water and began to sink, we can always call on God. He's there to save you. And that's one great example of Peter walking on the water. Today I encourage you, refuse to accept the suggestion of trouble. Drive out the thought of loss and danger out of your consciousness. Pray steadily until peace of mind is restored. Romans 10:13 tells us, and this goes back to the experience of Peter, for whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Jesus didn't let Peter drown. He called, Lord, save me, and he saved him. Joel 2:32 tells us, and it will come about that whoever calls on the name of the Lord will be delivered. If you are in trouble, you got a problem, call on him. You will be delivered. When we operate all of our thoughts in love, we know God is present. God is love. Prayer makes things different. Many of us have heard the term that prayer changes things. Prayer doesn't change situations. Prayer changes the way we think about the situations. Prayer illuminates what is right and what we are to learn in difficult situations to make us stronger and better. And we had a great example from Charlie's message about Joseph. Joseph he went through a lot of problems, but it was all a foundation and a build up to his higher good. Romans 12:2 tells us, and be not conformed of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Turning to God, we change our error thoughts to the truth. In the Bible, they're often called miracles. It is recorded that Jesus demonstrated many miracles. A couple I'll share with you. He turned water into wine at a wedding after the wine had ran out. He gave a blind man sight by covering his eyes with mud made from spit and dirt. He raised Lazarus from the dead. How did he do that? All by right thinking. He did it because he thought he could. When we think right thoughts, our deeds cannot be wrong. When we think right thoughts connected with love, we produce miracles. In Unity this month, we focus on the power of strength. Charles Fillmore defines strength as the energy of God. Freedom from weakness, stability of character, power to withstand temptation, capacity to accomplish. Strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. All strength originates in spirit. The thought and the word spiritually expressed being the manifestation. I have a little story about strength that I'd like to share with you this morning. Once a person decided to realize his dream, only he didn't have enough strength to do it. Then he turned to his mother and said, "Mother, help me." She replied, "Darling, I will be glad to help you, only I don't have it. And everything I have, I already give you." He asked the wise man, "Master, tell me, where can I get strength? It is said that it is on the Everest. Only I couldn't find anything except the snowy winds. And when I came back, the time was tongue-tied this morning. Relatively lost." Phew. And I read this 10 times before I got up here. Okay, it happened. He asked the hermit, "Holy Father, where to find strength for realizing my dreams?" "In your prayers, my son. And if your dream is false, you will understand it and find peace in your prayers." Who didn't the person ask? But the results of his search were only confusion. He ran around asking everyone. "Why are you so confused?" asked the old man passing by. "Yes, I have a dream, good man, but I don't know where to find strength for realizing it. I asked everyone already, from Everest to hell, but there was no one who could help me." No one could help you? A light flashed in the old man's eyes. Did you ask yourself that? Everything we need, God has already given to us when He gave us the breath of life. Within our minds and our thoughts, we create our world. We bring into manifestation that what we think. I call into action in your thoughts today a truth from Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Can we say that together? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so it is. And now, as we take a moment for meditation, we want to take a deep breath and let it go. Take another deep breath and let it go. And as we become still, we realize that we have the strength and the capacity to do all that God has called us to do. We have powers. Let us confirm, affirm, and know that our powers are always working with us, for us, and in us. We have the power of faith. We affirm that our faith is undaunting. We have the power of love. God is love. As children of God, we have God's DNA. We too are love. We have the power of strength. A strength to do and to overcome. that present themselves in our lives. We have the power of wisdom. We know what to do, when to do, and how to do it. We have the power of power. We are powerful. Our 12 powers are working in our Christ consciousness at all times. We have the power of imagination. We vision and see things and know things. We have the power of understanding, an understanding of a divine understanding. We have the power of will. Through our will, we are guided. We have the power of order. Our lives are in divine order. We have the power of zeal. We are zealous in our call, in our Christian walk. We have the power of elimination. We release all things that are not of God. We release all things that no longer serve us. We have the power of life, and we live life in the Christ Spirit. We have called all our powers. We know that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And as we go on our way throughout our week, we are equipped with everything we need. In every situation, in every relationship, we have everything that we need. As we confirm and affirm our powers, we move forward in our Christ consciousness. So let us take another moment just to be still. Take a deep breath. And as we gently return to the surface, we know the truth. There's only one power.